Well. Welcome back to the DC UK podcast. This is season 7 and it is episode 6. And as always, I'm your host, James Graham. This is the podcast that brings you the latest news and views from the capital of American soccer, but all from a British perspective. And tonight, I thought I'd change it up with a shirt. I've not worn this one for a little while. It is the marble jersey. And if I'm honest, I think it's an underrated jersey. I'm a big fan of it. Yeah, I like it. So I thought I'd change things up. Wear this one rather than the standard black and red jerseys that you see on the wall behind me. I do need to add something just over here. Once again, we're back with the brand new graphics and the brand new stars. If you missed the episode last week, here it is. There are some great new graphics going along on the podcast, and you'll see them on the watch along as well. What you'll see over on the left hand side, if you are watching this, is the conference tables, the fixtures of all the DC United matches and what's coming up, and the times on there. I've got them on the East Coast times, so if you want to know what time DC United are going to be kicking off, roughly, because the advertised time is never the actual kickoff time. You'll see them right here. So you'll see the glorious results of the DC United 1, Chicago Fire 7 just there on the screen, along with the current bad run that we're on at the moment where we've not won for, I think it's 10 league games now, which is just astonishing. And there you go. You'll see some of the kickoff times there, yeah. So yeah, there you go. What have we got going on today's shirt? I was about to say show. Well, firstly, we'll be looking at, obviously, we've got the match from last weekend, Rene Weiler's first match in charge of the black and red. We've got obviously some transfer news as we're recording. This is deadline day in Major League Soccer. So it's interesting to see if we get any other signs, but there has been one today. So we'll talk about that in just a short moment. But also we're going to do a preview of this weekend's fixture against Inter Miami, and who knows, will Messi play? That is the big question for this weekend. So first up though, it is all about Guest DC, who it has made a triumphant return. And we had the first one last week, but we've got another one this week, and this is a really good one, I feel. This player was a midfielder and one of the club's original players from 1996. He was the first American to play in the English Premier League as well, which I had to go and double check that one because I wasn't. It's like, was he? Wasn't he? But yeah. He captained DC United to victory in the first ever MLS Cup, and he later returned to the country. I want to say I'm not going to say the league. Because this was before this particular team joined Major League Soccer, and he returned as a coach for FC Cincinnati. So let me know your thoughts on who that is, but all will be revealed at the end of the show. But you know what time it is? It is the time for the all-important news. There we go. The all-important news and that beautiful, beautiful theme. So I just need to bring up, I hope this works flawlessly. It's not the headlines I was hoping for. They are not the headlines. Refresh, come on. I thought they would have been. All right, okay, yep. Bear with me 2 seconds. It's the one thing I did not check. Okay, the headlines don't, for whatever, seem to want to work this evening. So if I just do that, just give me a moment, folks. Just give me a moment whilst I sort this out. Let me get my headlines back up on screen. Talk amongst yourselves, but first up is transfer related. So hopefully you'll be happy about that one. That's, and I think it will be about Let's go with that. No, let's not do that one. Let's do that. No. For whatever reason, they're not working. So we're going to have to forego the headline graphic. I knew something wasn't going to quite work out unless did I not? Yeah. That's absolutely... Yeah, there we go. Anyway, back to the headline. So Caden Clark has joined the Black and Reds this week. I say this week. Today, there's been rumours earlier on this week, Tom Bogart, with the news of those rumours coming out. There's rumours of it being like a full $1 million, and then the fee got reduced down earlier on this week. But it has been confirmed, and it is for $700,000 in a cash trade, and with a further $100,000 in add-ons. Who knows what they are, but that is what's been said. Post went up earlier today about the transfer up on the DC United Kingdom website, so head over to dcunitedkingdom.com to find out further information. But the big thing about this one is, obviously, he's a new player, he's a new attacking midfielder as well. So is he going to be the move that unlocks that creativity? Is he going to be what we've been hoping for? What I do want to do is bring up some stats about him. So we're going to have a quick look at his 2025 MLS stats for Montreal, which is where we've signed him from. And here he is up on screen. He's made 26 league appearances so far this year, totaling 1,571 minutes. Has yet to score so far this year. Made 4 assists for Montreal. Has made 13 shots with 6 on target. 363 passes, of 20 of those have been key passes as well. 37 tackles made and 75 duels won. 10 dribbles, and he's picked up 5 yellow cards so far this season. So, for you folks out there, is he the signing that you're hoping for? For me, it's a good start. I want to see... I know we've only got hours left, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, the DC time over there. There's not much time left in this transfer window for Major League Soccer teams. It's been an incredibly disappointing transfer window. I know we've had a head coach change, but you'd like to think that something else would have happened. We were promised a summer DP. That's gone. That's nowhere near. It's not even a smidgen of a rumour of that happening. But, you know, it's an incredibly disappointing window. One signing, not much else happening. It feels like we're right now, all we're doing is we're going through the same cycle year in, year out right now. A winter clear out and a winter rebuild with a brand new head coach. Tell me you've not heard that one before from recent years. It's the same old story right now. And I know for me, myself, I don't know for you guys out there, it's boring. And we're playing the same record over and over again. And you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different answer. And that's what the ownership are doing right now. They're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different answers. And the only thing that's consistent right now is the ownership group. So when I hear those chants, which I'm hoping there will be this weekend, despite it being into Miami and there not be the usual crowd in, but sell the team needs to happen this weekend. The voices need to be heard, and I will be all for that. The ownership group needs to change, and it needs to happen sooner rather than later. So I hope you're all behind that one, and if you are, please, on social media, wherever, use the tag of Sell the Team and make sure your voice is known and heard across the DCU fan base. We've had Rene Weiler's first full week in charge of the club. Now, typically, DC United have press conferences held on a Thursday, and it is Thursday today. Guess what didn't happen? Press conference. So I was hoping to have a little bit more about Rene Weiler's first week, and I was hoping to join the press conference and actually be able to ask a couple of questions to him But unfortunately, that's not happened. That's supposed to be happening tomorrow. So if I'm able to join that press conference, if I get the time to do that, then I will absolutely update you guys on what's happened in Rene's first full week. We know the first couple of days were all about getting prepared for Montreal, which we will break down in a matter of moments, in a matter of absolute moments. But yeah, not much else. We've had the signing that he wants to make in Caden Clark. Tom Bogart was saying that that's someone he wanted to sign. We signed him. Basically, we've swapped Ted Kudapietro. We got $1 million in cash for him with Caden Clark, with a potential fee of $800,000 in total. So we got $200,000 for us basically swap. That's how a lot of people are seeing it right now. I don't think we've gained anything more with signing Caden Clark and having Ted Kudapietro go. I'm not sure if that's going to move the needle all that much. We'll see. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to see Caden Clark shine in the black and red. We'll just have to wait and see. Other headlines, there's one other headline to go through with you guys this week, and that is former DC United midfielder Jeremy Garay has joined Club Deportivo Cacahoteque, and I've probably absolutely butchered that, and I apologise to Club Deportivo Cacahoteque if I have butchered that. But that is back in his home nation of El Salvador, joining them from El Paso Locomotive from the USL. And that's it for the news this week. As we get back into the regularity of this podcast, we'll find these news sections will probably be fewer and far between in terms of the amount of news that's happening. So we'll start doing some talking points, and hopefully we'll start getting guests back on the show. So hopefully we'll start having a bit more of the news section. But for now, we are just going to end with a theme. Now, if you are watching out there, please do let me know any questions you've got for the podcast this week. We've got some questions that we will be answering at the end of the show. But if you've got anything there, please do hit them up in the chat. You will see them pop up on screen just down there. What you'll also see, again, if you've missed it last week, is down here. You've got the next 5 fixtures for DC United just going through on screen the whole entire time. And as you see, our next match is against Inter Miami, but we are going to be talking about last weekend's game against Montreal. We went over the border to Canada, north of the border, to see if we could get a win and break that 9-game streak of not having a win. However, that wasn't the case. We drew 1-1. As you can see on paper, we pretty much dominated the game apart from possession. That was the only place where we were outshone, shall we say. Let's just have a look at it. When I watched the game, I felt quite happy with how we performed. But it does feel like, especially from our first half performance as well, it really is 2 points drops. We should have won this game. If we had more clinical finishes in the team, we would have absolutely destroyed Montreal, I think. Because if you look at that, we had 16 shots to Montreal's 9. We only had 3 on target out of that 16. 6 were blocked, but 7 were off target. It's just a huge amount there that we've missed out on. Montreal had the lion's share of the possession with 58%. But as you can see, they did very little with that. We had just 42%, but you can see we were a heck of a lot more attacking and showed a lot more intent with that possession. 11 of our shots, it isn't up on screen there, but it is in the data that I get to watch and get to retrieve from the API that I use. 11 of our shots were actually from inside the box as well, so 2/3 of our shots were from inside the box. Montreal's 4 shots were from inside the box. So the fact that we were working our way into the box, getting those shots away, but not able to score more than 1 goal says a hell of a lot. We were wasteful. Absolutely wasteful. It's not a case of Montreal were defending well. It was the fact that we were just not taking our chances there. The expected goals as well, you look at that, 2.21 to 0.49. We had more clear-cut chances and we just didn't take it. You look at the foul counts, there was 29 fouls in total, which kind of is the norm with MLS and especially with our games as well. 4 yellow cards we picked up, again, pretty normal. However, that's the same amount of foul count and the same types of fouls, and Montreal weren't picking up those yellow cards. It felt a bit one-sided and from that aspect. And as mentioned, that expected goals there, that really is the icing on the cake for our inability to take the game by the scruff of the neck and actually get those goals. Because realistically, we should have won this 2-0, 2-1. Really, we should have absolutely won this game. So yeah, disappointing that we didn't get the win. But from the positive side of things, you look at that, and we are creating high quality chances. We just need to have someone, and it's looking less and less like that. It's Benteke now to take those chances. If we continue in that vein, where we're getting an expected goals of 2 per game, I'm confident we can get that win. But right now, we need to be much more clinical at the top end. Defensively, it wasn't so bad. Luis Barraza returned to be in goal. And if we look at the player reviews, if I bring that up, player stats, this is a new graphic for this week as well. Really broken it down here. So we've got each of the players from both sides, the entire lineup, whether they played or not. You've got the amount of minutes that they played in the game as well, and you've got the match rating as well. So this is done through an algorithm, and it's broken down. If you're a fan of Football Manager like I am, you'll see those, and you'll like, I recognise those kind of stats. I recognise that kind of rating, and that's because that's what it's very much akin to. So when you look at our stats there, our player ratings, so the better players in that game, and it looked like it on paper as well. Connor Antley, I really enjoyed his play at the weekends. He was all over the pitch, making great tackles, getting some passes off as well. He had an absolute strong game. Lucas McNaughton, I'd say, if I'm honest, I didn't really remember much of his play from the weekend, but that's never a bad thing. If you don't remember a play, especially in the defence, that's never a bad thing. They haven't done anything great, but they've not made a mistake. And that's something you don't want your defensive players doing anyway, and like the likes of Borussia now. Then you've got David Schneck as well, 7.3. Had a decent game. Was up and down that left-hand side again, as always. I'm sure he had a couple of shots at goal as well. Yeah, he did. However, none of them were on target, but he's having a go. One of them was right foot, if I remember rightly. And then Aaron Herrera as well, in a slightly different position for him, higher up the pitch, in a more midfield role, shall we say. Had a solid game. Again, didn't really do much wrong, to say the least. But he didn't do a lot right. A lot great anyway, shall we say. And then other notable players there, you've got Luis Barraza, he had a good game as well. Jackson Hopkins having a really solid game. He got the goal as well. So, to be fair, I thought his rating would have been higher. Managed 65 minutes in the game. And then you look at the players who came off the bench, 3 players off the bench. You had Borussia, Lucas Bartlett and Jared Stroud. 3 players who I'm not all up on. To be fair, I'm quite down on those guys. Yeah, Borussia has got a rating of 6.3 there. Lucas Bartlett with the same. And then Jared Stroud with a 6.7, and I'm going to assume that's because he had a shot at goal, which was awful. The ball was played back to him, and he just side-footed it wide. I mean, all he had to do was hit the target, and it was probably going to be a goal. But, this is Jared Stroud, who's not been able to get a goal contribution in 2025 as of yet. Then when you look at Montreal's as well, Luca Petrosso, who got the goal for Montreal with a 7.7, the best in the game. The one surprise I'm seeing here is Sinchuk. When I was watching his game and watching the match, I thought he's played really, really well, but he's been given a rating of 6.9. So that's below David Bugai and Laturi. Laturi had a great second half, I have to say. He really shone. And Prince Owusu as well, a 7.5 there. Again, he had a really strong game. He was really all over the pitch. For a striker, up and down. That was nice to see. And I want to see that more from the DC players. So that's the match stats from the weekend. I hope you enjoy seeing these, because I'm going to be doing more of these in the watch along. So make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel if you're not watching it on YouTube. There will be the game at the weekend against Inter Miami, so that will be there, and there will be the new scoreboard, which I'm just going to bring up on screen. It's just going to pop up here, so if you are watching, please take a look. And that's the new scoreboard. I'm really chuffed with how I've made it. It's taken a few hours to get, 3-4 hours to put it together. I've made a control panel as well, so I can do. You're getting a sneak preview of this right now. So I can do. There's no lineups as of yet, so I can't actually show you any goal alerts properly anyway. But I can put in. I'm not even doing this on. I'm doing this through my control panel. And if I do first half, it automatically puts it to 0 minutes. We've got the half time. We've got the second half. We've got the full time, extra time for those times we're in a cup match. We're not going to be using that for a little while. Second half, extra time, and then penalties as well. So we've got all the indicators there. If I do, it's not going to do a goal. It's actually going to not allow me to do that, which is fantastic. But we do have some others as well. We've got things like a VAR check. We've got indicators for VAR checks as well. I've thought about it all. Possible disallowed goal. You've got your red card checks as well. So all of these are in there. And I'm really, really excited to see you guys seeing that. We've also got we've got some added time there, so I can always put 5 minutes of added time on the clock as well. So hopefully you enjoy that. You are tuning in at the weekend. Make sure you do subscribe. I haven't put the stream up just yet, so there's no link there. But yeah, subscribe. Make sure you have the notifications on, and I will see you on Saturday evening. But that is all about Montreal match, and I'm just going to obviously take away the scoreboard now. There we go. So that leads us on to the preview for this weekend's game, which is against Inter Miami. The big question, as I mentioned earlier on in the episode, will Lionel Messi play? Now, he's been nursing a knock. It feels like this happens every time he plays DC United at the moment. But he had, especially the same last year. Will he play? Who knows? It's on a day-by-day basis. So I know a lot of season ticket holders have been obviously selling their tickets because they can make a chunk of change back, but it's not as much as it has been because of the doubt behind it. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Messi play, firstly? I mean, it would be great if he's playing. And it'd be great from my perspective as well, seeing him play against my team. Seeing how we react to him as well. Do we try and kick him out of the game, or do we allow him to play and hope that we're able to block him out? It would be an interesting from a tactical perspective. Rene's second match in, but he's had a full week to train with the team. So this weekend for me is the big one, to decide how we're going to look tactically and how we're going to start looking moving forward in this new era under Rene. if he does play, Messi, that is, how will the game change? And if he doesn't play, how do we set ourselves up? It's very intriguing and very interesting to see what that's going to happen, what that's going to do. What I do want to show is I've got another graphic coming up on screen very shortly, which is the prediction for this weekend. So again, I use this API Football. It's been brilliant. It brings in so much data, and I'm able to put all these graphics together and give you guys some valuable information, which I hope you take away and you understand and digest. And if there's anything that you don't understand from it, hit me up, ask me the questions, and I'm happy to talk it through with you guys. So let's bring it up. I mean, the big thing there is the prediction is winner into Miami. I don't think that's going to be any surprise at all from anyone's perspective. Now, the breakdown of the odds, which I've just realised aren't actually on there, we'll get those added in moving forward anyway. So, in terms of the chances of winning, the model that's being used for the prediction only gives us a 10% chance of winning this weekend. Draw is rated at 45%, and Inter Miami win is also at 45%. So the most likely outcome is either going to be a win or a draw. But the final prediction, after everything that's been taken into account, it's saying is Inter Miami are going to win. We look at the recent form, ours is at 13%, Inter Miami's versus us is 87% in their favour. So that kind of gives you the story from that perspective. You look at the last 6 results as well on the right-hand side there. 5 defeats and 1 draw. In the last 6, Inter Miami, 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats. A bit of a different story, shall we say. Head-to-head, the last 5 times that have been between Inter Miami and DC United. Inter Miami have won 3, we've won 1, and there's been 1 draw. In terms of the last 5 league games, not between the two sides, but overall, Inter Miami are in great goal scoring form. They're scoring an average of 1.8 goals per game. We're scoring an average of 1 goal a game, but also conceding an incredible 2.2 per game. It's not a good look from us. And you can see it from the season stats as well. We've only won 4 games all year, whilst Inter Miami have won 13. We've won 50% of those games at home. Inter Miami have pretty much won 50% of their games away, so they've got quite an even record, which is unusual, shall we say. Majority of the time, it's heavily weighted towards home form being the key. And whilst we've scored 23 but conceded 52, Inter Miami have scored 53, so it's over 2 goals a game throughout the entire season, and conceded 39. So they do concede a decent amount of goals. Defensively, they're not so great. But man, are they good up top. They've got some cracking attacking players, and it's going to be a difficult game. I'm not looking forward to it. I think we're going to get beat. I agree with the prediction. It's just by how many. And in the run-up to the game, I would love to hear your predictions as well. Do you think we're going to get the win? And if you are, what are you smoking? Because can I join in? I want that delusion. Will we get a draw? Which could happen. The model says 45% prediction for the draw. So it is definitely possible. But realistically, it's going to be an Inter Miami win, isn't it? Come on. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. But that's it for the preview for this weekend. Like I said, we're gonna do a watch along. So come and join us. Make sure you are subscribed. If you are enjoying what we're doing, DC UK, go to the website. There'll be a link in the description. It might be a bio.link /DCUnited Go on there. There's the merchandise. Go and support us. Everything that's get made from that gets put straight back in. into the production of the show, production of the watch-alongs, and just helping out day to day with it as well. So please do, if you enjoy the show, please do support us. Well, let's move on to the fan question. So every time I do a show, I always want to get your thoughts and your questions in for me to answer, or to talk through and debate. So let's have a look. Now, I did make sure this was working earlier. Where are you? Questions. There you are. There we go. So yeah, as it says, if you've got a question, I do take them in from any social media of your choice. I am on pretty much everything. So whether it is Blue Sky, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, we've got the DC UK server as well. Hit me up. Let me know. Like I said, more than happy to answer on the show. So first question is from Twitter, Inwardbridge. If the Galaxy win a Leagues Cup trophy, they are in the semi-finals somehow, even though the bottom of MLS, they are the wooden spoon contender. Why or why not is that as improbable a result as DC United winning in the US Open Cup in 2013? Now, for me, winning the Leagues Cup versus the US Open Cup, I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think it's more tricky to win the Leagues Cup than it is to win the US Open Cup. And the reason I say that is there's fewer difficult teams in the US Open Cup. You've got the Mexican teams in the Leagues Cup versus MLS, whilst in the US Open Cup it's MLS versus USL versus NISA, MPSL, and the lower division categories in the nation. It's like the FA Cup we have over here in England. So for me, it's more improbable of a result that Galaxy would win the Leagues Cup. And if they win the Leagues Cup and finish bottom and they get the wooden spoon, that is a bigger achievement than DC United winning the US Open Cup and getting the wooden spoon in 2013. Now, you could say about the points difference. We can debate that, but we can only debate that at the end of the season, really, as to if that happens. But right now, I think it would be a bigger achievement if Galaxy win the Leagues Cup and finishes bottom. That's my personal view on that one. Moving on to also another question from Inwoodbridge. How will Caden Clark's acquisition affect the future? I don't think it's going to affect the future too much. I don't think it's, as I said, it moves the needle all, whichever way you look at it. It gives us another option up top, which is great. And I think having that competition is always a good thing. The lack of competition up there, it's usually been the same people. And the way, like I said, Jared Stroud's been playing this year, no goal contributions at all. Pirani has goals and assists. Benteke, he's a DP. Paglau, when he's fit, is fine. But that's when he's fit. That doesn't happen all that often. Then you've got Bargy, Murrell, and co. And that doesn't fill anyone with a lot of confidence. So the fact that we've got Caden Clark, who has a bit of a pedigree, he's been over in Europe, and he's come back. He played for Minnesota for a short period, then went to Montreal, and now he's here with us. It's not the biggest teams in terms of his track record, but he's young. He comes in on from the U22 initiative as well. So, that's it. He's got that pedigree. He's got that drive, and hopefully he uses that to try and get himself into a US. I don't know whether he's thinking of a US men's national team place for the World Cup next year. That can only be a good thing for us. So hopefully he uses this as a platform for himself to try and elevate himself into that squad. I think that would be tricky for him to do, but hopefully he thinks he's got that opportunity there and pushes us on. That's the only thing. That's the only positive bit I can see out of this. I don't think it's the biggest and best signing I'm going to make, but right now, looking at it, I'm trying to see if there's been any other transfers, but Oh, there is a tweet. Who's that? No, that's just Caden Clark again. So yeah, don't think there's going to be much else for in terms of signings. Which, yay, brilliant. Anyway, thank you, Inward Bridge, for your 2 questions. Please do keep sending them in. It's always great to hear from you. From Instagram, less of a question, but more of just a wanted to let us know that he's going to be in attendance for the game this weekend. It's his first time in 4 months. This is Jumping Podcast over on Instagram, fellow DC United podcaster, and go and check him out. Doing some great stuff. So I would love to see whoever's at the game. Now, normally there's a DC UK flag. Now, that's probably what I should get put up there, or right behind me, and get the shirts moved over a little bit. But there's a DC UK flag, and I've always said if anyone gets their photo taken with it, I will share it and I will do something special. But please, if you get the chance to see it at the game and you're there this weekend, get a picture taken with it and send it in, and I would love to see it. You'll get put up on the watch along and stuff. So yeah, I just love that I see the DC UK flag at the stadium on the broadcast on Apple TV. It just warms my heart. It's just one of those funny things, and I still can't. I always pinch myself. I always think I'm doing this, and as you can see, it's on the time. It's like 11:05 in the evening for me. I'm doing this for you guys out there, and I see the flag at the stadium in another country, proudly there. It tickles me and it warms my heart, and I feel blessed that there's someone out there who puts it up each game and takes it down each game, and it's just, yeah, it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So thank you for that question. I've got, I believe, one more question which came in from Discord. Johnny Pilgrim. What's one former DC United player you'd bring back in their prime that could make this current team a playoff contender? I don't think there'll be just one player that could do that. But if I had to, now based on how I saw the Montreal stats look and how we've lacked goals this year, really, I'm going to have to say my man, Jaime Moreno. If he was able to come back in his prime, I think we would have a much better chance of making playoffs, and I think it would remind me of the Rooney 2018 when he joined. We had Audi Field open up, and that run that we went on to make it into the playoffs. I think we were bottom of the East when he joined. That run that we went on to get to that point, making and getting that Columbus Crew game, which I still remember watching, and what a game that was. There was so much enjoyment in that game. It was so much fun. And then my main memory is of that penalty shootout. That painful penalty shootout. And that must have been a normal kickoff time. It tends to finish at, 2:30, 2:45 in the morning. Extra time. And then the penalty shootout. So yeah, it must have been like 3:30, getting towards 4:00 in the morning. And we've gone through that penalty shootout. I'm delirious. But the big thing, the atmosphere was rocking, electric atmosphere, and unfortunately I've just never seen it like that since then. But that was when the entire stadium was getting behind it, and you haven't seen that before since the old RFK days with the stands and the bouncing and everything, and the atmosphere that was generated in that match against Columbus Crew in that playoff was just unbelievable. I had the hairs were standing on my arms, the back of my neck. It was just brilliant. I would love to see that happen again. But where we are right now, that's years away before we get to that level. There's a lot of change that needs to happen, as I've discussed on this episode already. A lot of change that needs to happen to us to even think about getting back there, which breaks my heart. It genuinely does, because I put a lot of time in, and you guys know that. I put a lot of time into this club, especially the time zone difference and things like that. It's not easy supporting this team, but my God, I will continue to support the team. It's how I'm brought up. It's how we do it over in England. You get given a team, you stick with that team through thick and through fucking thin. That's just the way we do it. It's just the way we do it. I would never give up on DC United. You will have bad moments. You'll have good moments, like I do with Middlesbrough. We're currently in a bad run at the moment. It feels like it goes hand in hand. We had a great time of it in sort of the mid to late 2000s, the noughties anyway, when we were in Europe and we'd won the Carling Cup, the League Cup anyway, in 2004. We had a nice little run in Europe, and we had some great players: Mendieta, Hasselbank, Viduka, Yakubu, Rockenbach, Downing. Just some great names and great players and great entertainments. We're not going to get that with DC United, but I keep looking down. Okay, I'm looking at my phone now because I'm trying to keep an eye on things. Interesting news, not DC United related, but from Tom Berger in regards to Major League Soccer and transfer. FC Cincinnati agree a shock deal to re-sign Brenner on loan from Udinese. They're working to finalise the deal before deadline tonight. Agreement is loan until winter with a purchase option. That would be a stonking deal for FC Cincinnati if they pull that off. Other things you've got are Minnesota United nearing a deal to sign Paraguay youth international winger Alexis Fariña. So you've got that deal happening. RSL receiving up to 350k GAM from Montreal and deal for Bode Hidalgo. LAFC are looking to sign Irish international midfielder Andrew Moran from Brighton. Loan until January and includes a purchase option, arriving on a U22 deal. Nashville have signed on loan winger Jonathan Perez to a permanent deal from Galaxy. Rafa Navarro to CF Monterrey from Colorado. DeAndre Yedlin has gone to from FC Cincinnati to RSL. So there's a lot of deadline day signings happening across the league. Just a one measly signing throughout the entire window for DC United. Hopefully we'll have more by the time I wake up in the morning. Hopefully we'll have something else. But that leaves me with one last thing. I was about to end it before giving the guest DC who. So if you've joined the podcast late, or if you've just skipped over the initial part of the show, I'm just going to quickly just check what that other alert is. Bear with me. Yep, I've already read that one. That's fine. A player was a midfielder and one of the club's original players in 1996. He was the first American to play in the English Premier League. He captained DC United to victory in the first ever MLS Cup, and he later returned to coach FC Cincinnati. If you've got it, great. If not, the answer is really should have a drum roll sound right now. I'm going to have to get one of those. I'm going to have to do a drum roll sound and get that in there. The answer is John Harkes. Another player you could bring back in their prime to help us get the playoffs. I don't think there's one player would really make the difference. I think we need a few players from in their prime from the old DCU days. But that's it. That is it for today's episode. And a bit of a shorter one compared to last week, shall we say, where we had, I think it was an hour and a half, and this week's is coming up to around 45 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Like I said, please do subscribe and make sure you get ready to tune into the watch along this weekend against Inter Miami if Messi plays, we'll be able to see some great action. You'll be able to watch me react to the match in real time. You'll probably see tears of sadness running down my face at the end of the game, where we've gotten absolutely battered, and I've stayed up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning watching us getting beat yet again. But hey, it could be a little society, a little club for us all just to wallow in our sadness about this team and we could share some memories of the good times that we've had. So I hope to see you on Saturday evening. But I'm trying to think of another way to end it, but I'm going to do it my usual. As always, vamos.